Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to a reconnecting reading, focusing on what it is that Spirit has for you, a message from Spirit. This is a pick a card or pick a group reading. So essentially, you just take a moment, you take a deep breath, and you focus on the three different piles that I have in front of you. This is group 1, this is group 2, this is group 3. You just take a nice, relaxing, cleansing breath in and release that breath. Do it a couple times if you need to. And then look at the three groups that are in front of you and try to get a sense of what your higher self, your guides, or just in general what you feel drawn to get a message from Spirit for you and where you're at right now. Now, the reconnecting readings are designed to be done in such a way that it connects you with things that you need clarity on, a message that you need to help you to gain personal and or spiritual growth. So this is what Spirit wants you to know to help you with growth, group 1, group 2, or group 3. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and look in the box below for the timestamp to go to the one that you feel most connected to. All right, let's go ahead and begin. All right, group 1, this is your draw. So let's go ahead and start with the first message. The first card that we pull is the message pleasure. This is really tapping into, it feels a bit of solar plexus as well as sacral. So the orange lets me know that it's sacral, but it feels like it's going into solar plexus energy as well. So you are being asked to tap into that connection between the sacral and the solar plexus, between that which brings you joy and delight and pleasure, makes you feel like you're living a luxurious, pleasurable life, but also connects with that which allows you to feel confident, that which kind of boosts your confidence, makes you feel that you are one with yourself and you are living in confidence, the desired life that you have dreamt at one time. And if it's something that you are tapping into or checking into, and this is not the case, your attention is being drawn to this. This is something you are meant to be focusing on. So as you move through this reading and you move beyond this particular reading, you need to be doing a check-in with your life. How pleasurable is it? How much are you taking satisfaction in your life and what your life gives to you? And if you're not seeing that or feeling it, what changes do you need to be making? Because your confidence, your level of self-appreciation, self-acceptance, and confidence is being tethered to this aspect right now. There is a connection, or rather a lack of connection, that is resonating right now. And so that is something that you need to focus on, not only in this particular part of the reading, but also as you move from this reading into wherever else you are headed in your life. You're following this with the 2 of Cups. For some of you, this is coming through that you have the potential of a connection with another soul, but you're missing out on it because of your hesitancy to tap into those pleasure aspects of life. And that, of course, is playing a part in your self-confidence as well. But there is the capacity for a connection for quite a few of you. This is resonating as a love connection, specifically as a lover connection. And so the moment that you manage to sort of find where the lack or the missing link is regarding your seeking pleasure and its connection with your self-confidence, that harmonious flow will go into this aspect of having a soul connection, a love connection, a chemistry connection. For a select few of you, this is also a chemistry connection to do with elements of your life, specifically career-wise. So once you get a feel for this connection and you understand the connection between pleasure and self-confidence, there's something to do with your career path. Once you understand, the career path will start to kind of open up, and you will find that chemical alchemic connection in your career path as a result. And it has a connection that the next step will make more sense, or will be revealed to you with more clarity. It's not that it hasn't been revealed to you as much as kind of lacks clarity, and that clarity will be able to be reached if you tap into that aspect of connecting with pleasure, connecting with things that make you feel life is full of joy and great pleasure, and that boosts your confidence. This is leading into 10 of crystals. This is an element of happiness, and happiness grounded in being grounded in feeling secure. So this resonates a little bit with your security. Self-confidence resonates with how you feel about yourself, how you perceive yourself, how you embrace yourself, and how that all plays a part in how you feel grounded in general. And this all is leading into the path of feeling more grounded. And again, this is both, can be for the connection from love perspective, but it also can be a connection for love as far as a career or field is concerned. So however that applies, finding this out, understanding this, doing the work for these elements in this reading will lead to this sense of happiness that is rooted in feeling better secure, feeling like you are more grounded than you were otherwise if you hadn't done this work, if you hadn't pursued this aspect. We're following this with the universe card, and this is just coming into an age of finally crossing the finish line of that work. So accomplishment, completeness. So there's something that you've been working on, and it doesn't feel like it's been a long time, or at least this aspect of it hasn't been a long time, but it's been long enough that you feel like you are ready to kind of complete this part of your personal journey, your personal life quest, so that you can move on to the next thing. And this is letting you know that you can get there. This is actually on the other side of this. So again, the key is tapping into that connection as far as pleasure, what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure. And when you find that lack and you understand that and you reach clarity in that, that's going to lead into seeing the alchemic connections, whether it be a soul person or a soul connection as far as career, what makes you feel like you have a soul connection with your career or your work. That is going to lead into security, and it's going to make you feel like you have completed a specific aspect of your personal journey and allowed to expand and grow from there. So there's a bit of a foundation. There's a bit of creating having a sense of completion, or having a sense of crossing the finish line, or getting to the other side of something. And on the other side of that is the ability to expand yourself in some regard. So this is where you're at. This is things that are coming together in your life. This is how they're kind of playing a part. Whether you have recognized it or not, this is the message to you, is that this is what you have to recognize. You need to recognize the connection with that aspect of yourself, and how much it's playing a part in the actual journey, the linear process that you are experiencing, or a lack of linear process that you may be experiencing. So if you're really kind of hitting a lot of blocks, or you feel like you're doing the right things, but it doesn't seem to be coming together quite harmonious as you had anticipated when you embarked on whatever work that you're doing, this is all letting you know that this is the key. This is the aspect that you need to kind of tap into and focus on and doing the work on. And that clarity is just going to lead to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. And you're going to reach that completion of this aspect of your life journey. And that thing which you are working towards is finally going to be within your grasp. We're finishing your reading with judgment. And I feel like this is basically a call to what you don't need to be doing with yourself. Do not judge too harshly. Do not judge too cruelly. Do not get too focused on that comparison aspect that sometimes we get caught up in. So again, I'm really tapping into that concept of where you're at in your life journey and your personal quest, and how sometimes you sort of look at what is in front of you, and you look at the journey that you are participating in at this time period, and you're comparing it to other people. You're sort of looking at other people who you feel is having a similar personal growth or personal journey or personal aspect in their quest, and you're comparing how they're growing, how they're changing, how they're shifting, and how you perceive things are coming together for them, and you're comparing yourself and how you feel like it's not matching. And so this is going to present agitation within the process. It's going to disrupt that linear process that you can participate in when you pause any moment to kind of judge where you're at. but you're doing it from a place of comparison, it's stalling the whole process because you get kind of caught up in that. And then you're not seeing the aspects of yourself that is already has been completed, the aspects of yourself that is actually more fitting to you. They're aspects of your journey that is specific and unique to you and your spirit, and what lessons or what opportunities are available that's specific and unique to your soul spirit, your spirit body. And so that's one of the reasons why that you don't want to compare. So just don't get caught up too much in that judgment. There's nothing wrong with doing comparisons as far as looking back and reflecting on where you were to where you are now. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with taking a constructive critique eye and looking at who you are now and the changes that you need to be making. But you want to make sure that any judgment that you're doing is constructive, not so much destructive, or at the very least blocking you in any way. All right, group 1, that is all I have for you. I hope this reading has provided you with everything you were hoping for and more, and hopefully I'll see you in a future video. All right, group number 2, let's go ahead and begin with your reading. We are starting out with purpose. So you are, I feel right away, this is very, very connected with soul journey, spirit work. And I feel like there's quite a bit of you, if not most of you, the work that you are pursuing or investigating or researching or sort of dabbling in has to do with spirit work in general. So first of all, there is a huge awakening that seems to be happening in a general sense. Many people are becoming more aware of spiritual aspects that we have forgotten or we haven't participated in for quite some time. So there's an awakening that is occurring. There is, at least, if not an awakening, at least an awareness that is occurring. And so there are many of us who are being called to help and participate and assisting others in their awakening aspect. And there are many people on many levels in this awareness and awakening journey. And so there are many of us who are needed to participate and assist others. And this can go just from having a conversation with friends and helping them to feel confident in awareness that they have based on the experience that you have already had. And for others, it can go so far as into you're actually being called to do this work specifically from a perspective of it being your career or your field. So this is really tapping into any position in that spectrum. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you're being called to actually do this work specifically as a career or to participate in it from the perspective as a job. But if you have been feeling called to do this, then this is a message that that calling is not just your imagination. Take heed to that and then follow through with it to get an idea of to what extent this is supposed to be. Is this supposed to be a hobby, or is this supposed to be something that's a little bit more focused? And if you're not feeling that call, open yourself up to it, because one of two things can be happening. That call is going to be coming, and the more aware you are of it, the less agitation you will feel in the journey from here to there. But also, like I said, there's just a few that is their whole point and purpose is to be a light or a beacon for those around them, just from a perspective of having the ability to listen, and also just having conversation with friends and family around them who are now becoming more aware, and they're at that point where they're seeking, where you may have been 2 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, and you can just be that beacon, that light, that guiding. So it's not so much a career move as much as you're just assisting those people who are starting out. And at the very most, you can give them confirmation, validation for their experience. But even more so, you might even be able to guide them to videos, to readers, so on and so forth. But this is, you're experiencing this, and the message right now, right off the bat, is that that this is, you're receiving confirmation and validation for that calling, or that sense that you're getting regarding your connections and where it may or may not be leading you. We're following this with the 3 of Cups, and overall, I think this is supporting this message, and that you're helping celebrate other people's awakening in some facets. Again, this can range from just being a friend who is helping to validate and confirm, friends and family that are near you that are beginning to become more aware of spiritual things, and you've been down this path, so you can help them realize what is happening to them, help validate them, help them not feel that they're kind of maybe going crazy. You know, you've been through that experience. You went through the process of questioning and researching, and so now you can assist somebody. So this Three of Cups is coming in really strong about the support that you are going to be giving them. And this, like I said, can range from just being a friend who is assisting and validating and confirming, all the way to the spectrum of possibly celebrating and helping as a point of career. But this is coming in strong and really giving that extra strength to that message that came through immediately with the Purpose card, and coming in with the concept of celebration. So this is something that you will be doing in conjunction with other people, celebrating in that joy and that awakening that others are experiencing as they move through what you have experienced recently yourself. We have the Knight of Cups, and right away the word that came to mind is discernment. So there's a call for discernment on all across the board. So on your part, as far as being discerning regarding how much you participate in someone's awakening, making sure that you're giving the space necessary for them to be their own catalyst. Those of us who are doing this work, again, no matter whether you are on the spectrum, whether it's just being there and present for people who are needing confirmation and validation, all the way up to possibly seeing this as a point of career or job, there's a need for discerning to make sure that you're not trying to force someone into an awakening that they're not really ready for, or aren't aware of taking in the concept or the angles or the information that you're providing. So overall, there is definitely there needs to be an understanding that you're just present no matter where you are in this assistant mode. There's just a call to be present and be discerning on where they're at and what they need from you. So do they need just somebody who's listening to them and say, you know, oh yes, I understand, I've been there? Or do they need someone who's going to ask the questions and help them to help themselves? But there's a sense of discernment. Don't get ahead of yourself as you take in this message and you start to resonate and then understand that what this calling may actually mean for you, and you're ready to kind of jump with it and go with it. There's also just the message that's coming alongside it is just to make sure that you are being cautious and you are being discerning about how much you're assisting, and make sure that you're actually assisting somebody and not so much pushing and pulling someone to see things from your point of view or see things from where you're at. Remember where you're at in comparison to their journey, and also recognize that even those who may be in some ways not caught up with you in their spiritual journey, there might be other elements of their spiritual journey that they might actually have more experience in, because this kind of it's not necessarily absolutely linear. There's so many elements of awakening, and there's so many things to be aware of that some people kind of come in at different angles and meet in the center. So just be very discerning of the process that you take and how you're assisting others. Make sure that you remain connected to your higher beings that you work with that has helped you with your awakening, so that they can guide you and direct you accordingly whenever you're in conversations with these people, whatever the position of your conversation is with whoever you're talking to. Justice. Overall, the awakening is meant to bring about a sense of making things right. This is kind of a loaded topic. And it's one of those things that the more people become awakened and aware, the more they understand some of the injustices that have happened. And it goes deeper than most of the things that are, kind of touted by activists. Not that there's anything wrong with the presentation of a lot of activists and what they're focused on. Awareness of a lot of those situations is needed just as much, but it goes deeper than that. It's rooted deeper in that. In fact, all of those problems that we see kind of coming to the surface and people are growing in awareness of, it's not the thing. It's actually a branch off of a bigger plant, a bigger root. And so overall, the process is going to be a long process as far as awakening is concerned. And the awareness of different things where justice is needed goes beyond some of the more already recognized issues. It goes deeper than that. The roots are so much deeper than that. And so this work is going beyond just helping people to be aware. The more that people wake up and are aware, the more likelihood that an injustice that is deeply rooted is finally going to be corrected. And so that's kind of part of the purpose. The other part of the purpose, and is also falls in line with justice, is that we as humans are also just innately spirit bodies within a physical body. We're, they're together. And our soul purpose is to be connected to our spirit self. And all of this awakening allows for that to kind of come more to the surface. And that is also another element of the injustice that humans have been experiencing for a really long time, that our soul selves have been experiencing for a long time. And that is the bigger picture, how we as a spirit body can be consistently present always, no matter what we're doing, no matter who we're interacting with, no matter how we're living our life. That is one of the parts of the greatest injustice that is going to be rectified should things continue to progress on this path. And again, your purpose is to kind of have a hand in that as far as awakening and awareness is concerned. Adventure. I feel like, this is sort of a linear message in that after we got part of the root bulk of this, and we got to the concept of justice and what the work is kind of pushing us towards, it's letting us also know that part of the element is this adventure that we're going to be going on. We haven't been connected to our soul body to the depth that we are possible to be connected for a very, very long time. And should we actually manage to wake ourselves up and have a better alignment with our spirit body or spirit selves, to the extent that all of people everywhere have that connection, it is going to be a new way of everything. And it has the possibility of being an adventure should this happen, to the degree that it has the potential of happening. I think also this is coming in as a message to let you know that this is supposed to be an adventure. Because life is supposed to be an adventure. There's an element of being able to be just happy and enjoying life. And so don't get too serious about this work, wherever you fall in the spectrum as far as how you perceive that your job is in this awakening. Don't take it too seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. Make sure you're still enjoying life. And make sure that whoever you're in conversations with, that they also understand that the point of life is enjoying life as well. We're supposed to be connected to our spirit self, but the point of that is so that our spirit self can be enjoying existing on earth, enjoying all the pleasures that we have access to here on earth that we don't have access to if we weren't in these bodies, if we weren't experiencing life through these bodies. So don't take it too seriously. Just make sure that you're still enjoying life as you're working through all of this, and check yourself if you find that you're taking it too seriously, and let yourself know that you need to just kind of, make some adjustments and make sure that life is full of life. Life is adventurous no matter where you're at. Oh, great. Okay, group number 2, that is all I have for you. I hope this reading has provided you with everything that you were seeking and more, and hopefully I will see you in a future video. Okay, group number 3, let's go ahead and begin with your reading. We are starting out with open. So right away, the word open is just bringing up all kinds of visions of just being blocked and kind of shielding yourself and sort of going through a heavy process of needing to be protecting yourself, or just going through a process of self-preservation or making choices that are always rooted in self-preservation and therefore protection. And you're being told that you need to open up. You're getting a little too strict, and you're straining yourself with the amount that you are constantly covering every aspect of yourself out of I guess, for lack of a better word, a sense of fear. You're not meant to be living in that sort of constant fear and needing to always shield yourself. So they're basically telling you need to open up a little bit. You need to open up not just to yourself and your desires, but you need to open up better to people that are around you. So there is a heavy amount of protection and not letting other people in. And although it had good reason when these choices were initially made, it was rooted in a good reason. They're not discrediting that at all, but that reason has dissipated. You are not the same person that person was when you felt the need to protect yourself to that degree. So it is time to open up. It's time to let down some of those barriers and trust that you have the intuition to know if someone's actually trustworthy or not. And trust that your higher self, your higher guides will let you know if you need to be wary of somebody else. So overall, you're just being asked to open up and to recognize that sometimes pain is just a part of life. It's not something that you can't absolutely avoid at all lengths, because in all honesty, when you are avoiding pain at all lengths, you're still creating pain for yourself in the concept of being alone, that loneliness, the pain of loneliness. So you really haven't avoided pain after all. So this is the overall message of what you're getting right now. Opening up is coming in so very strong. We're following this with the Hierophant. I feel like this is tapping into the idea of needing someone who has a skill set to help you, Typically this comes through as when it comes through from emotional issues and potentially even trauma. This comes through as someone who is trained from the sense of like someone who is a psychologist or psychiatrist or counselor or something along that lines. You yourself know what you're dealing with. You yourself know what you're facing. You yourself know what this is referencing. So only you can absolutely know to what level this professional needs to be. Is it just someone who's a spiritual counselor? Is it just someone who is a friend? Or do you need someone who has a higher skill set than that? You need to give this some contemplation. This is not an absolute requirement, but it's definitely something that's going to help you in your journey. It's going to help you with opening that your spirit is trying to let you know is desired that you participate in. So you really want to look into where you're at, what you're dealing with. Take a closer look at what it is that you're dealing with as far as past experiences, trauma, pains, aches, so on and so forth, and what it is, what kind of help you should be seeking to overcome this. You will thank yourself if you participate in this. This is followed with the Transformation card. And I feel like this is letting you know that you can take these issues and they can help be a catalyst for transforming you on a deeper level. They don't have to be a burden. This is not saying that they're going to be considered non-consequential, because they're not going to be. They're still relevant. They're still part of who you are. But you can transform this into making you a stronger person. You can use this as a stepping stone for strength and power. And that's where this person that has a skill set can help you, however this falls in line. And it all helps with absolute transformation of being guarded to becoming more open. So there's just a process. It's something you're going through and dealing with. And it feels pretty heavy. It feels, whenever I'm tapping into this, it feels like something that most people, when they experience whatever this is, they really don't particularly like to talk about it. They don't really like to tap into it. They don't really like to look at it too long. It's something that is probably often avoided because it's easier to avoid. But you're just basically being told that you can actually heal these wounds. It's not going to go away. Scars often remain in places where very deep set wounds have occurred. So again, they're not just saying to forget about it and move on. They're just saying you gotta clean those wounds, you gotta heal them, and then know that you can continue on. So however that resonates, like, so this feels like a very tender, almost touchy subject, and so I'm being presented with kind of choppy details because it is such a sensitive area, but it's something that they want you to look at. They want you to do what you need to do to clean these wounds and heal so that you can move on feeling whole again and stronger, not struggling, if that makes sense. We're following this with the Knight of Wands, and I feel like this is letting you know that there are people available who can support you. That's different than this person that you need to be seeking out for help, should you decide to seek additional help with this process. There are friends or family members, people who have had your back in the past, and they're there to support you and to kind of be your cheerleader, be your moral support, whatever the case may be. They're the ones who, when they find out that you are making some changes, you know that they're gonna be happy for you, just as happy as you are for yourself when those changes take place. And so you're just being reminded to tap into that connection. It's there for you to be able to use as a resource for help while you process all of this and you move from where you're at to where you want to be. We're ending with knowledge. For some of you, I feel like this is coming through pretty strong, as you'll be someone who can help other people who've had similar experiences. This is not a requirement. This isn't going to be an absolute reason for you to do this work. The absolute reason for you to do this work is actually for yourself, for the healing process, for the transformation, for how you will feel whole or more whole when you're done, or when you work through this. But the added benefit is that you have a knowledge that can benefit other people. And for whatever reason, I'm thinking of, people who have experienced something specific, and maybe they go to different schools, be it high school or elementary or college, and they do talks kind of explaining or expressing their experience and their growth and kind of getting over and how they did it and what resources they used, and how they can be sort of a beacon of hope and courage for other people who may be experiencing the same thing. This is what I'm getting, that you'll have a knowledge base that will help you help others should you choose to do this. I feel that for quite a few of you, the reason why this is coming up is because this can actually be part of your healing process. You just have to get to a point where you feel you can open up a little bit better regarding this. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope this resonated and therefore has helped you in a way more than you anticipated. But that is all I have for you, group number 3. And hopefully you have gained clarity from this, and this has provided you with more than you were hoping for. And hopefully I will see you in a future video.